How are you all doing? So today I would like to talk to you about a topic which I think is of a big importance for many of us sisters here who have been on a career break for some time and are looking to get back to the workforce. And I know as a single parent, when you're laden with responsibilities, it is a very important step. It is something which is really a very crucial step towards your well being, your children's well being. So, I have heard a few queries about it and I wanted to make a video. So, these are certain steps which you can take, which can make your transition back to the workforce little more seamless, little more easier. So, the first and most important point is get support. Get support at the personal front. So, remember that once you have a job, you will have to leave your children behind until unless you find something which is a work from home, but nevertheless we have to be prepared. So instead of figuring out once you have the interview and once you have the job in hand, once you have the offer letter in hand, it would be good to plan it out. Maybe get your children used to not being around for some time rather than figuring all out immediately when you have to go out for that job. So build that support network. Try getting your children accustomed to you not being around for some time. The second point is reevaluate. So maybe the job which you have been doing earlier might not interest you anymore, right? So now things have changed, circumstances have changed, perspectives have changed, your circumstances have changed. Maybe what appealed to you at that point of time might not be appealing anymore. Maybe because of your children you might not be interested in that work which you have been doing earlier. So reevaluate. Now in reevaluation, one tip: so, when you are reevaluating, apart from trying to find out which job interests you, also find out those jobs for which the demand is higher and the supply is less. So, that way, what you will do is it will be much easier to get that interview call because the interviewers are more hard pressed trying to get people for those roles, and it will be easier for you to get an interview call. Which brings us to the next step: upskilling. You might have been on a career break and you might have been uh, not getting back into that same work which you have been doing earlier. So, and in that circumstance, as well as a circumstance where you decide that no, I want to move into a different career, in both the cases, upskilling is very important. Now there are various websites, there are various platforms where you can access online courses where you do not need prior experience. You can take the courses at your own pace. You have Coursera, you have Udemy, you have Google certification courses. So make use of those, right? But before you choose a course, you can maybe scan through the job postings which are put up, see what kind of skills they are looking at, right? Decide whether you want to take up that certification or that course to pass the screening process or to increase your prospects or bridge that gap, that skill gap which you have to transition into a new career, or to or maybe to upskill yourself in your current career. So have that perspective very clear, okay, and invest in yourself. Now, apart from the upskilling part, it is also important to get yourself visibility. Now, how will a recruiter reach out to you? How is it possible? So usually the usual way which we know is building up a resume, which definitely is a no-brainer. Build up a resume, and one very important and very interesting aspect is um, LinkedIn now has a option of filling up a career break. So you can actually go to LinkedIn and tick that option and also mention why you have that career break and what skills you have picked up during that career break. So utilize that section. Maybe when you would have taken a career break, you would have, worked somewhere, freelance somewhere, taken up some projects, done some consulting. Utilize that portion, utilize that section. Try to showcase what kind of skills which you have, taken up or developed during that career break. Apart from that, there is also one more aspect, which is not really much used but is pretty helpful. That is building your portfolio. What is that? So if, let's say, if you have taken up a project, okay, and you have been building on something, you've been freelancing on something, apart from putting it up on the various job sites, develop your own portfolio. It could be a WordPress for writers. It could be a Dribble for designers, or for programmers it could be GitHub. And keep building on that, keep feeding into it. So as and when you start adding skills, as and when you start working on various projects or freelancing, keep adding to that. So apart from building your resume on the various job sites, also build your own portfolio. Okay. Now the next is networking, the most important. So in networking, you can reach out to your alumni, you can reach out to your previous a company where you worked. You can reach out to your colleagues, you can reach out to your friends and relatives as well. And also one more thing is, in LinkedIn also there are various communities where there are various groups. You can as well as post in those groups. Okay, engage in those groups and showcase. Let's say if you have picked up a new skill, showcase it in that group. You can maybe be eloquent about what is that new project which you have taken up. Let's say you have developed a skill in digital marketing and you have done a freelancing around it. Speak about that skill. Okay, tell people. And also tell people that you are looking for a job. Let ego not come in here. You might have to take up a job which is lesser, at a lesser designation, or maybe at a lesser pay also, from what you had been there. But let not ego come in, right? And the last point is that be unapologetic about the fact that you have had a career break. You have had a justifiable reason for it. Sometimes you might be, not sometimes, in fact, just like questions like, tell me something about yourself, just like what are your strengths, what are your weaknesses. Similarly, why do you take a career break? What were the reasons? There are people, there are women who manage work as well as children. And why isn't that you were not able to do it? Be prepared for those questions. Don't be deterred by them. So consider those questions in the same line as tell me something about yourself, right? So these are certain tips which can help you to make your job search more seamless. And I sign off mentioning one last point. It's a cliche, but nevertheless very important. Patience. Keep applying and keep patience. The right job, which is for you, custom made for you, is waiting just around the corner. All the best.